Marginal agriculture counties, let me take it again. The current national food security situation is stable, except in pastoral and marginal agricultural counties such as Turkana, Garissa, Marsabit, Tana River, and Isiro, which are the most affected by the prevailing drought and have greatest need for food assistance. It is important to note that the country, the rainfall onset has delayed and forecasts have been early cessation. That the rains are delayed and the forecast is that there will be early cessation. It is equally important for the country to note that this prevailing condition will have adverse impact when it comes to farming in the country. The ministry is appealing to county governments to support farmers whose crops have been affected by the prevailing poor rainfall conditions by provision of early maturing crop varieties and other farm inputs. On our part, as the ministry, we will continue monitoring the situation with a view to providing information on timely interventions. The most important thing, and it is important for us to note, that there will be consequences. That as we note that the prevailing rain situation, the rains are going to start late. We expected the rains to have fallen in the first and second week of March, whereby most of the farmers do planting at that particular time. The other farmers plant latest mid-April. This week, we are headed to mid-April. By 15th of this month, we expected the rest of the farmers to have planted. As you can see, the skies are still clear. There are no rains. And number two, even where it had started raining, it's even more dangerous because the already planted seeds are already rotting. Meaning, those farmers will have to plant again. And that is whereby we have to look at it. If a farmer has already planted what they had, and they will be required to replant again, then they will need assistance. And that is why we are calling upon the county government to step in and ensure that those who planted early will be able to be supported for them to be able to now plant when the rains come. But the most important of it all is that, again, if already you are supposed to plant on the 15th of March, and now you have not planted, and the rains, the way they are forecast, is that if a crop was to take 6 months to mature, or 4 months to mature, you have already lost 1 month. And those who are expected to plant before the 15th of this month, if the rains will be delayed for another 2-3 weeks, again, they will be late by 3-4 weeks. And having been warned that there will be early cessation, the distribution will be poor. That is number one. Number two, the rains will be depressed and they will not be long. And therefore, we are advising farmers to plant early maturing crops and inputs, other inputs. And that is the statement to our farmers. Plant early maturing crops. Teams from the ministry have been on the ground and have carried out a rapid food situation assessment. This assessment indicates that the country has an estimated current maize stock of 21 million. Again, the purpose of calling you here today was twofold. I have issued the first statement that about early maturing crop. Number two, we are also concerned about the escalating price of unga. And again, we want to be very clear that the assessment indicates that the country has an estimated current maize stocks of 21,382,882 90 kg bags of maize. Of this stock, an estimated stock holding at household level is at 13,040,716 bags of 90 kg, which is a reflection of 61% of the total maize stocks. 3,353,266 bags of 90 kg are held by traders, which again is 16%. 680,588 bags of 90 kgs are held by millers and processors, which reflects 3%. And 4.3 million bags of 90 kg with the National Cereals and Produce Board depots, which is 20% of the total stocks. It is worth noting that as a country, we consume 4.2 million bags of 90 kgs per month, in addition to other alternative uses such as livestock feeds and other industrial products. Further, it should be noted that on average, Kenya produces 40 million bags of 90 kgs per year. Although this year was an exceptional, we had a bumper harvest and we were able to raise 44 million bags of maize. We had earlier expected to have 46 million, but because of the short lanes were depressed, we were not able to harvest the 6 million expected for the short lanes, but we harvested 4 million. And therefore, again, as I said, it is 40 million bags, 90 kgs per year, against an annual consumption of 52 million bags of 90 kgs, meaning we have always been having a shortfall, a deficit of 12 million bags. The deficit is normally met through cross-border trade with East African community countries and Southern African region. We, however, note with the right that other food commodities such as rice, beans, and sorghum are readily available in local markets, though at steadily increasing prices. However, due to delayed rains, leafy vegetables are scarce and attracting escalating prices. Again, you note when the rainfall comes, because I want to explain to that Mama Boga in the village, and for all of us to note, is that whenever the rains come, there are those vegetables that come up. Yeah? There are those, for example, you ask Kikuyus, you say, it is called what? The managus are coming up. The tereres and the rest, which comes very fast immediately the rains come, and they cushion our farmers. So those leafy vegetables are not available, and therefore you can see when you go to the markets, the price of vegetables is rising, and that is how they are escalating. The prices are escalating, and this is due to the delayed onset of the 2019 long rains. The maize market prices in the country have started showing an upward trend, ranging from 2,200 to 2,800 Kenya shillings per bag of maize, as per 1st of April 2019. On the other hand, a 2 kg maize flour packet is retailing at between 80 shillings and 95. However, there are areas of concern. And these areas of concern is that if we are not going to receive the expected rainfall, is that again, The harvest of November, we are not very sure of how many bags of maize we shall be able to receive. And again, the region where we are relying on other inputs coming in, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, who our neighbors also have problems because the rainfall condition is affected across the region. You know, with the Mozambique floods, again, you have been leading the press, meteorological department is warning that all over the rains are disturbed. So those are the prevailing conditions, and we expect that the media should be able also to enlighten our people so that we do not take the advantage of the prevailing conditions to incite our people. But I'm happy to note that as we are issuing the statement, the rains are now falling. And I wish they will not fall just in Nairobi. I wish they will go to North Rift and other places, central Kenya, where we can get, they are planting crops. And although we need the Nairobi also and its environs to be green. So thank you very much for coming, unless there is